Okay, so I thought I would talk about manifestation. Now, manifestation can be a bit of a, I think it depends on who's talking about it, depends on which avenue we're looking at it in. Sometimes it can seem a bit wishy-washy and a bit woo-woo. The reality is that when you know how to use this tool, it becomes incredibly important. Now, obviously, I have a reading that's based on manifestation, and it's basically me teaching you what your particular skills are when it comes to manifestation. The types of things that you naturally lean into in the areas that can, have to do with that. So there's some houses and some planets and asteroids that link to that. So it shows your own unique, special abilities in those areas. But there's some general principles that go with manifesting. So one of the there's quite a few signs. Like Cancer is a big one for manifestation because it's the birth sign, it's the birth of things, the birth of creation. Even within the human body, it's all the cells and corpuscles, the beginning of life. Where cells and everything begin, that's Cancer. So that's, of course, going to be connected to manifestation. It's also exalted in Jupiter. So Jupiter is about expansion. It is the planet, one of them, anyways, of expansion and manifestation. So there's a few areas, and it's worth knowing what sign you have in Jupiter, and again, what placements. Every single person is unique. Every single person has their own individual blueprint, and this shows where your particular gifts lie. It's always going to be different. Even if you were to meet 5 people with the same Jupiter sign as you, you're not going to be in the same house. It's not going to be the same. Like some people might have just that planet in that house. Others might have a couple of other planets and asteroids. So every single person has their own unique take on it. And that's why I think it's important, to do readings. If there's some things in your life that you want to manifest, this can be anything. If there's a certain kind of relationship you want, or a certain kind of job, or to improve things in your life in whatever area you're struggling, manifestation is always helpful in every avenue. It just depends on, what it is that you want in your life that you're not getting, that you need help with. So, anyways, let's go through some of the general points. This is something I find a lot of people don't really know. It's becoming more known, but I still don't see it explained as succinctly. So I'm going to do my best to explain that. So, when it comes to this, it has to be something that you're certain about. So if you're a bit wishy-washy, you're not sure, one foot in, one foot out, it's not something that you're going to be able to manifest because you're not putting all the energy of certainty into it. So this is really important. It usually means that you're not really for that thing. Even if you try and convince yourself that you are, you're not. If you feel yes, no, maybe. It can't be about the focus of what you don't want. This is really, really important. A lot of people will focus on, well, I don't want this to happen, I don't want this to happen. Well, with all of your focus on what you don't want to happen, that doesn't stop it from happening. In fact, you're more likely going to create more of that because you're so focused on it. And that's not going to be good because the universe is going to work with you. It always does. It's a neutral entity. It's an energy source. It's not designed to, punish you or to whatever weird things people think. The reality is it's neutral. So it's whatever you put into it, it will give back. That's just how it is. So if your focus is on all the things you don't want, that's what you're going to get because that's what your focus is on. The universe is always going to pay attention to what you focus on. So the universe is like, oh, okay, so this is what you're spending your time thinking about. All right, I'll give you all that. And then, of course, people will say things like, oh, manifestation doesn't work. It's like, yeah, it does. It works really well. You just didn't focus on the right things. It's kind of like frequency, like a radio station. I know that's a bit old school, but I can't think of a better example. On a radio station, yes, they choose a certain genre of music, right? And that's all they stick to. That's what manifestation is like. You don't focus on the stuff that you don't want, you focus on the stuff that you do. And then you think about all the different ways that you can have it, create it, get excited about it. Again, when you're listening to a radio station and you happen to like all the music they play, or at least a major amount of it, you're going to be plugged in, right? You're gonna be happier, more checked in, more excited, more engaged. That's how it works with this too. And it's not thinking of it as, oh, I can't wait till one day I have that. This is another big trip for people. You have to think of it in terms of what you're going to feel like as you have it. Which this can feel like a lie. This is where I think people can get really tripped up because it makes you feel silly, makes you feel like you're lying, because you don't have that thing yet. But it's like everything. Everything that has ever been created was at one point not real, like it didn't exist. It's just somebody was so excited by it, they put all of their time and energy into it, and then they manifested it. That's how it works. So it doesn't matter what other people think. In fact, a lot of people will not understand because it's part of your purpose, it's part of what you're doing. So they're not going to understand because they have their own. So again, if you're a bit more fragile in that area, and it's okay if you are, like everybody has their journeys, I would say keep it to yourself. Because if you can't handle other people not being able to understand, the chances are you're going to get some kind of ridicule or mockery. And if that's something that can really affect your process, then you don't need to hear it. It's just noise anyways. And I like the idea, if somebody's not living the way that you admire, that you yourself would want to live, then their opinion doesn't really matter, does it? No, it shouldn't to you. It shouldn't be your bottom line. So it's people who are working towards things are always going to support others. People who aren't tend to try and tear each other down. So it's worth recognizing that and knowing who you can talk to about these things and who you probably shouldn't. Again, the more solid you are in what you're doing, then the less you're going to be affected by what other people say, whether they're encouraging towards what you're doing or not. But that's the main focus. Try to imagine whatever that thing is that you want to manifest, that you already have it or you already are it. This brings it from, again, when you're ready and when you're solid. If you have doubts and you're kind of like, oh, well, I want this, but I don't know if I deserve it. Work on getting that doubt out of there because that's not going to help you. So you have to kind of think of it in these terms. It's really important that you make those connections because the universe will go, oh, I pick up on doubt, so you're not sure. So I can't give it to you because you're not certain. So that's why I say you got to pay attention. If there's doubt, usually there's something that's not quite right yet, so it's not going to work out. It will probably end up happening, but it's another step. It's a stepping stone to teach you that this might be getting you sort of closer, but it's probably going to be lessons in it. So make sure you learn from those lessons. Not, oh, these horrible things keep happening to me or whatever, right? It's more about, okay, what is this teaching me? What do I need to do with this? Now, like I said, if this was something you wanted me to help you with, because this is complicated stuff, and I'm giving you general tips and pointers because I don't have your chart in front of me, so I can't make it specific about you. But in terms of a manifestation reading, I would look at your chart. I would speak to you through email to find out what it is that you want to manifest. I would look at the corresponding things in your chart that relate to that to let me know what you're like. And then I can go through both the challenges that you would face and how to overcome them, as well as what you're good at in terms of manifestation, what you'll find natural and easy. And you can use it as your guide to create the energy to then again, manifest in those areas, but also to overcome the challenges. So that's why I say this is probably the best way to go about it. Like I said, I make general content like this. It's still helpful, but is it going to be specific to you? No, I can't, because I'm just telling you the basic principles. Yes, they're helpful. But like I said, if you really, really want help with manifesting what you really want and need, I'd have to look at your chart. So you can always reach out and I can do a reading that way. The more descriptive you are about what it is you want to achieve, what you want to manifest, the better I can give you the tools and solutions that you can get it. These things don't always happen overnight. There's a journey and a process that has to go in place, and it depends on the person. Depends on how much self-doubt you have. Depends on how much insecurity you have. Depends on how many traumas, and again, this is why these things are worthwhile. If you have a whole bunch of traumas and self-doubt and things that happen to you that you can't manifest yet, we have to fix that first. So I would look at the trauma-based points in your chart. Again, depending on whatever it is that you feel you're struggling with, we would deal with that first. Then we could work on manifestation. Again, it depends. I have to kind of talk with people to figure out what types of stuff will really help them. So, I mean, you can always reach out, send me a message, through here, any of my other social media ports, and I can talk you through them. But that's the best way to go about it, and there's nothing holding you back. It's just a matter of how much effort you put into fixing it, and after I can help you with the clarity and the points of what to focus on, you have no reason why you can't have everything you want. Anyway, reach out if you need to, and I hope that was helpful.